So, today we're going to be covering Bikini P... Wait, can I not say on YouTube? Oh. Welcome back to Under the Covers with me, 93 Acres, and today we're going to be covering Tove Lo and a song something to do with bikini. We'll go into detail of the distorted bass and the vocoder sound, and we'll see how we can get the vocoder sound in Logic Pro X. And by the end, it should sound a bit like this. All I do is drink champagne all day, all day, all day. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification button so you get to see more videos like this. I also stream over on Twitch on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, so if you'd like to watch me make these videos live, or if you have any questions for me, that's probably the best place to go. Links down below. Also for today, we're going to be going through the full breakdown of the track instead of watching me make it as I go along. So let me know if you prefer the videos to be this way or to be the other way. Also shout out to David Krupa and Dancing Pineapple for requesting a Tove Lo song. If you have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments. Alright, let's get into it. Let's get under the covers with Bikini. Alright, hello. Hey friends. Today we're making a song. So what song are we doing today? Can you remember? Hopefully the intro wasn't too much. You can let me know. Okay, cool. Aforementioned. How fancy are we? As aforementioned, we're going to go through the track now that it's done. So I made it all on stream, and now I'm going to run down in detail of how we did it. Okay, cool. Let's have a look. We'll start off, as always, with our title, which is, we've already talked about that, Bikini, blank, the key F major. Let's get up on our piano. Here we go, last piano. 1 flat, B flat. Lovely. Then the chords in the chorus are slightly different to what they are in the verse. So the chords in the chorus are B flat, there's a passing note to A, and then to D minor. B flat, then drops to A briefly, to D. But it actually ascends to the D. Drink of champagne. All day, all day, all day. A, and the D. Dun, dun, ba, 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 ba. BPM, I'm stuck. It's between 100 and 105, and sometimes when I'm remaking songs, it's nicer to have them at a higher tempo because you don't have as long to produce the track. It's not going to sound as good as the original, but if you bump up the tempo, you can kind of glaze over the mistakes a little bit more. So it's slightly beneficial. So we went for 104. It might be a tiny bit slower, but I didn't want to Google and ruin the fun of it all. And then the chords here are B flat, A, D minor, B flat, A, D minor, the chord of 4, the chord of 3, and then the chord of 6. 4 being major, 3 being minor, and also 6 being minor. Okay, cool, lovely. So that's the first section. Let's jump into drums. Drums. Okay, here we go. So we started off with the drums and we wanted to clap because there's a clap on the end of the 2 and the end of the 4. So let's listen to those claps. So we have 6 claps, which might be a bit overkill, but there's actually 2 of them that are just taking turns to get the sound slightly different each time. On the end of the 2 is different to the end of the 4. Makes it feel like it's moving. Bit more intrigue. That sounds like this. Cool, lovely. And then we have a kick as well. It's a pretty soft kick. There's not too much high end in it from what I can hear in the track. So went for something that sounds like this. And it's 4 to the floor. I threw a little decapitator on the kick just to give it a bit of oomph because the sample I was using without it wasn't quite hitting. So we turn this off. Just a tiny little change. I like it a little bit more. It gives it a little bit more grit to punch through the mix. It sounds nice on its own. The sample's great, but then we were losing it with everything else. A little bit of a boost and we're good. All those claps, I didn't even try anything on them. So one clap I took a little bit of low end out of, but the rest of them I just left as the samples. And then I have the whole bus. I'm just losing below 30 just to be safe. The samples are pretty tidy. Got them all from Splice, so that's pretty useful. So the clap and the kick sounds like this. Great, lovely. And then there's this sort of hi-hat that's hitting kind of 8 notes as we're going along. It's kind of like a hi-hat. It sounds like there's Big Crusher on it, so I did just that. Cool, I really like how that sounds with the Big Crusher. Drive up to 5, resolution 2, downsampling 2, mix 60% or so. Kickstart's really important. This is my quick side chain. It's €10 plugin from Nicky Romero. Maybe worth checking out. Very useful, 78%. And I have this one here, getting rid of the downbeat. Bit of micro shifts from Sound Toys, just make it go around our head. And then we have a bit of Valhalla, which is just making it delay a little bit, makes it sound a bit weirder. We hear without the plugins. EQ, Big Crusher, sidechain, micro shift, Valhalla. You can hear it just trailing off there at the end. Now you might not be able to hear much of this. Depends what you're listening out of, whether you can hear some of this fine detail. So that's kind of like our hi-hat sort of shaker sound. It's really cool. Then I also have a sample going through the whole thing. It's from Cymatics bundle. It's a free bundle called Major Laser, so you can also check that out. Nice. I'm leaving links to all the free stuff that I'm using in this track in my Discord. So if you want to check my Discord down below, there's a link in the description if you want to check that out. You can hear lots of white noise. So I EQ'd out some low, then also a bit of decapitator to bring in a little bit more punch, and then the kickstart to really feel the bounce. And that's pretty much all our drums. The sample's carrying a lot of the mid and giving us that soka beat. What is a soka beat? A soka beat is a kind of that Check out soka beats, very, very common at the minute. Soka beats, worth checking out. Up next, rises and swells. So we've got an impact here. Lovely, just EQing out some low end there. He was a bit too boomy without the EQ. Yeah, he was just getting in the way of everything, so you have to cut out those lows, keep it a little bit tidier. Nice. I've got this lovely riser. I got this one from Splice as well. Nice. So that's got a pan man, just so it's going around the head. Feels like a little bit more movement, adding more depth to this track. And just an EQ, take out some low end, just more as a precaution than anything else. I've also white noise. We can see I've just cut off the low end and then an auto filter to feel the build up here. It's all about bringing and then dropping out. Let's have a listen. Lovely. And then it builds back in gradually then and does exactly the same as we go along the track. A big impact. Nice, I like that one. Then I have a smaller version of that, which is just EQ'd a little bit harsher. You can see there I've taken some high end out of the smaller one. And that's just when I don't want it to be too big. Differentiate between the middle of the course and the start of the course. Need it down to be really, really strong. So those are just EQ'd. Have a swell now. We talked about this before in the last video. Might link up there. Reverb tips. Usually we don't put our reverb on our track, but we have in this case, just because I want this swell to be totally wishy-washy. So wishy-washy in the distance, is just kind of everywhere, but I've EQ'd out the low ends, and we can see here with the little plate, the mix is pretty high, but I'm low cutting, so I'm not really getting any low ends in the reverb, which is pretty important. Those are our swells. So that's pretty much all the drums now. We've got our drums, swells and risers, onto bass. So the first part of the bass is the one we can really hear in the track. It's the octave, B flat, with the soka beat rhythm, cha, cha, but then it drops down to the A, and then up to D. Let's have a listen. Cool, so from the B flats up to the D. Okay, and that's got the soka beat. Cha, cha. That's a retro synth, using the retro synth here. I went to the preset sub-level bass and I've messed around with the filter to make sure that we had a long enough release. Longer release was important in this one, and we just changed the resonance and the cutoff point. EQ, just took out a tiny bit of low end just to be safe. Compressor, just a tiny bit, just to make sure. Just to keep it nice and controlled, flat level, it's nothing too crazy. Just want it to be present all the time. Then some decapitator as well, just a bit of extra distortion to kind of give it a bit of a growl, make it sit out a little bit more. Then we've a sub bass, but I've cut out the low end in the sub bass below 100 so I can let the sub level bass take that. What I'm really using this sub bass for, you can hear it in the second chorus of the track, which we've kind of pretty much copied here. This sub level bass, I've just EQ'd the lows out. I've also given it a kickstart just so that we can feel the downbeat come off a little bit. This sub bass is hitting a soka beat. It has a lot of growl, but I'm giving the growl out through a bus. So I've bus out to the decapitator. I've got a lot of distortion. You can see here I've low cut a bit, tones in the middle, high cut is up at the top, so no high cut. Output I've had to bring down a little bit, and the drive's way up, and the punish is a big change, is giving it a lot of distortion. Let's listen to it. Nice, really nice. And you can hear it's going slightly one side and then back out the other side. And that's true putting the pan man on the bus. So that's one of the main reasons I busted out. So I could still have the main fella come down the center. You really need your strong sub low frequencies down the center. And that's why I've just bust out a tiny bit. Ba-doom-doom. Ba-doom-doom. I was just attacking two ways, kind of keeping it interesting. I feel like the track does something like that. If not exactly that, it does something extra with maybe the filters to keep it interesting. But I thought they sounded pretty cool. Let's listen to those two basses together. Very fat, a little bit muddy, but I think it works in the grand scheme of things, so we'll leave it as is. Let me know what you think. Okay, cool, that's pretty much all the bass. Now we have two more synths. Let's get on to them. So I put in a piano, add in some extra texture. Just adding a little bit of extra in, just a little bit of texture. It's not very loud. It's actually a demo from Addictive Keys. Just a bit of reverb, a bit of delay, nothing too crazy. EQ'd out some low end, no troubles. And then this tempo maker is from Retro Synth. I'm using a preset, but we're messing around with it a little bit. I've changed the envelopes a little bit, resonance lower, and I've changed the cutoff and resonance again. Similar to what I was doing with our first bass, but actually instead of elongating it, this one's really short. Cool, and a little bit of movement. And we can hear the pan man, making it go side to side around our head. We have a kickstart, adding in the bounce, and then we also have just an EQ taking out the low end. So let's listen to it without these three things. And then with the EQ, boosting some high ends, the kickstart, a little bit of bounce, and pan man around your head. Nice, I think it sounds great. Lovely, now we're on to the vocals. Okay, so there's a lot in the vocals. So what I'm going to do is on Thursday, I'm going to release a video on vocal production. And I'm going to go through in detail of how we produce vocals because it would take too long. This video would be like half an hour long. I'm going to leave that for Thursday, okay? But basically, with some compressors, EQs, de-essers, a little bit of saturation, some delay, reverb, nothing too crazy, but there'll be a bit of detail in it. So we'll go into the detail on Thursday. I basically have a lead vocal, a double, an octave lower, and then we have the extra cool thing, the vocoder. This is the best thing about this track. I love this vocoder. Sounds pretty thin here at the minute, but when you put it with the other vocals, it kind of sounds quite nice. So let's have a listen to the vocals all together. All I do is drink champagne all day, all day, all day. And I dance around my room naked, oh yeah, naked. Skinny dipping in the pool with me, with me, with me. Take a day out from your life all day, one day, today. Nice. Vocoder is such a nice touch. So if you want to find this vocoder in Logic, search vocoder and you'll find the Evoc PS vocoder synth. There's a few really nice presets in there. So if you just click at the top up here, go to Vintage Vocoder. I like the clear voice vocoder, it's pretty good, but this one I thought the Cascade sweep was kind of adding a little bit of extra movement in and I didn't have to automate anything. So it worked out pretty well. Channel EQ, compressor, Saturn, the saturator. Just give it a little bit more boost, decapitator and micro shift. So 2 more sound toys effects. Okay, cool. And then the last thing is the little whistle, the so it sounds like this. Nice, I love that. So what I did there, I whistled, but I whistled while inhaling as opposed to, it sounds a bit more like that. It kind of sounds like, you know, have you ever seen those like circular plastic tubes and when you tilt it, something falls down it and then like the air movement makes the sound and then you turn around the other way. Sounds like one of them and they've recorded one of them, but I don't have one of them and I don't even know they are. It'd be a great thing to sample actually. So I just recorded myself inhaling. We put it into a quick sampler. Let's have a listen. This is the original. Nice. And then we pitched it down. And then I just sped it up so it's at the right speed. So that's using the Logic sampler. Very useful. Okay, cool. Right, so that's pretty much everything. Let's run through the whole track. It'd be rude not to. Go on, go on, go on, go on. No. You will, you will, you will. Won't you? This is a song by Tove Lo. This is Bikini something. Let's have a listen. Hit it! All I do is drink champagne all day, all day, all day. And I dance around my room naked, oh yeah, naked. Skinny dipping in the pool with me, with me, with me. Take a day out from your life all day, one day, today. Alright, hopefully you learned a thing or two. That track's pretty cool. Although in fairness, Tove Lo doesn't miss. Every song she writes is a bopper. Bopper? Bopper. And again, if you have any songs you'd like to hear me cover, let me know down in the comments. Hope you're all keeping well. Best of luck with the music making. Cheers. With me, take a day out from your life all day, one day, today. Is that okay?